This is a video showing all of my Sam Coupe games. If you don't know what the Sam Coupe is, it's an 8-bit British home computer from 1989. It looks like this, and for an 8-bit computer it does have, on paper, a fair bit of power behind it, but it has very few actual games to show off the power. I think I've got enough games to do a video. So here's all the games that I have for my Sam Coupe. And all of this, I should say, this is all of the software that I have for my Sam Coupe. Like a lot of 8-bit computers, there were games made available on cassette tape, but there was also games made available on your standard sort of 3.5-inch floppy disks. I do have quite a few cover discs because there's a really cool magazine called Sam Revival, and that is a really good source of software for your Sam Coupe if you're struggling to get stuff. Now these discs don't actually tell you what's on them mostly, so it's a little bit annoying that if you just want to quickly load up something. But I do have quite a few of those. The latest issue does actually tell you what's on the disc. There's a couple of utilities, but there's also a few games on there. And there's a conversion of Flappy Bird. There's Mega Blast, which is a sort of Bomberman game. And some other bits and pieces. So let's just get those out of the way for now. So the cassette stuff. When I got my Sam Coupe, it didn't come with a floppy disk drive, but it did come with these 3 cassettes. And I think these are ones that were just bundled with the machine originally. And so you've got the Sam Coupe demonstration and Flash, which is an art package. And I think this might have been the only thing that was actually available for the Sam for a really long time, which is why the computer didn't really take off. There was just a severe lack of software for it. So now we've got here 2 utility tapes. Now I'm actually not 100% sure what's on these tapes. I know that this includes the startup program for you to load Spectrum software, and I think issue 2 is just a Spectrum emulator with better compatibility. I think that's what it is, but it's obviously got some other stuff on there, but I don't know exactly. Another way of getting the odd bit of Sam Coupe software here and there is actually from ZX Spectrum cover tapes. This is a Your Sinclair cover tape, and it's got some Spectrum games on it, but it actually also has a demo of Prince of Persia for the Sam Coupe, and it's all on the same cassette. Unfortunately, the Sam Coupe demo is after a Spectrum game, so you do have to get your tape in the right place. But this is the only one that I've found so far. I don't know if there's other Sam Coupe things on other Spectrum cover tapes, but I mean, if you're absolutely desperate for stuff, then this is always something you can buy. My one actual full game that I have on a cassette tape is the famous Five on a Treasure Island, and this is actually a text adventure game. So I was going to do a video of this game, but then I thought actually that would make for a really boring video. But it is a actual proper game on cassette tape for the Sam Coupe, and it takes a bloody long time to load up as well. So I've got some loose floppy disks. I've got this issue of Fred, which is just I think it's a magazine, but I think it's just a floppy disk magazine. with some bits and pieces on there. I mean, it looks like there's loads and loads of stuff on here, but actually a lot of these are just like little like demos and things like that. It's not like there's 10 games on there, unfortunately. But some loose floppy disks I've got of games. I have this copy of WOP Gamma, which is a Boulder Dash type of game from 1993. So this was made a good 4 years or so after the release of the Sam Coupe. So it was definitely getting games for a fair few years. There was a little community of people that were actually buying these games. And this is Bats and Balls, and you can sort of imagine what game this is. It's a breakout clone, although it's its own unique sort of game. It's not an arcade conversion. So this is Bats and Balls, and this is a breakout sort of game, a bat and ball game. Got a very basic label, hasn't it? And I have a copy of Pipe Mania. Now this must be a proper release that came in a box originally, but I don't have the box. I do have a box for the Commodore 64 version actually, but I'm quite happy not to have a box because some of these boxes are quite big and they do take up space. I've got this copy of Sfera. Got a strange looking guy on the cover there. And this is actually a top-down shooter game, a scrolling top-down shooter game. Unfortunately, it didn't work from the time that I got it. But I always think it's always worth keeping these because there might be a chance in the future for me to rewrite a disk image back to this original disk. But right now the game doesn't work, unfortunately. And the case has seen better days. Right, so I've got these two games in nice big boxes. And this game, Defenders of the Earth, is actually, I think this is the first proper game that was released for the Sam Coupe. And it came out 6 months after the first computers were sold. So it took a really long time for the first game to come out. But it's a good demonstration of the capabilities of the machine, actually. And what I find funny, actually, about some of these is that it comes with an instruction manual, but it's like a generic instruction manual for Amiga and Commodore 64 versions of the game. So they have to include a little extra piece of paper with Sam instructions on it. And it tells you there that if you have the cassette version of the game, it takes about 23 minutes to load. And if you have the tape version and you just want to upgrade it, then you can send them £4 and they would have sent you a disc. There's also some instructions here for people that have got first issue Sam Coupes. There was a buggy ROM on the machine, so you would have to type, after it fails to load, you would have to type a call command to get the machine to force the machine to boot, because there was a little bug in the ROM for floppy disks. I also have one of the other big releases for the Sam Coupe, and this is Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters. I did a video of this a while back, actually. There's not really anything in here that indicates it's a Sam Coupe game. I don't think there's any instructions in here about the Sam Coupe specifically. And this game, it's nice to have a game for the Sam Coupe, but the game itself, even though it's a unique version for the Sam Coupe, it is really slow, and it's a little bit disappointing But it's got unique music, so it's not all bad. I also have a copy of Clax, and it's in a box that seems to be backwards for some reason. It's a really weird one, this is. But yeah, Clax. And once again, there's no indication that it's a Sam Coupe game. Don't think there's instructions for the Sam Coupe here. It's all just, there you go. Atari ST, Amiga, PC, Commodore 64, Amstrad, Spectrum, and MSX. Oh, and there's more. BBC. But yeah, it's no surprise there's a version of Clax for this, because Clax was on absolutely everything. And the game that I'm most happy to have a copy of for the Sam Coupe is Lemmings. And at the very least, they did put a nice little unique Sam sticker on there, just to tell you that it's the Sam Coupe version of the game. And this is a really nice box, actually. It's a bit of a weird shape. I'm lucky that this copy that I bought came with Oh No More Lemmings, which is really nice. But you can see here how long it took for this to come to the Sam Coupe. The original game was released in 1991, and then it was released for the Sam Coupe 2 years later by Fred Publishing. So Psygnosis didn't do it themselves. And then it got Oh No More Lemmings in 1994. And I think by that time, the Sam Coupe was just limited to the few people that actually bought the machine. I don't think it was selling machines. But it's difficult to tell, because a lot of people have just quoted the same figure of 12,000 Sam Coupes sold, but I don't know, it's difficult to say really. It's one of those things where they might have made more than 12,000 machines and they ended up selling them cheap to get rid of them, so there might be a lot more than 12,000 out there. And this does have specific Sam Coupe instructions, which is nice to know, because once again it's just been bundled with a old standard instruction manual for other machines. It's got some nice colour pictures in there. And that's almost it. I have one more to go. Now this isn't a game, but again I'm very happy to have a copy of this, because this is actually a game creation utility. It's a game creation program for the Sam Coupe, and one of these days I will get around to actually taking a look at this properly. It comes with a nice old instruction book, and there's another disc in here and I'm not really sure what it is. I thought it was a copy at first, but it might just be some helpful utilities to help you design sprites and things. Yep, I'm very happy to have a copy of Games Master. And that's all of my Sam Coupe stuff. So there you go, thank you for watching.